Episode 4 of You and I Are Polar Opposites has brought us one step closer to the greatest confession ever. And this is coming from somebody who has not read the manga. Spoiler alert, I will probably be reading the manga in the next couple days or so. But I have not read the manga as of making this video. And I can't wait until Yamada and Nishi finally confess to each other. And this episode confirms to me even further that we truly are only just a step away. We are so damn close to absolute peak, and boys, we might have to wait a little bit longer, but I know when we get there, it's gonna be absolute cinema. Absolute freaking cinema. Now, with that said, let's freaking talk about it, right? Let's talk about why I feel like we are literally one step away. Now, for starters, we have a pretty damn adorable moment in this episode involving Yamada, Nishi, Tani, and Suzuki, where Suzuki essentially goes with Yamada to the library and is like, oh yeah, I just wanted to see you, Tani. I just wanted to see you while you're working. Nah, she ain't there for that. No, is it a part of it, her being there for her boyfriend? Of course. But the other part is definitely wanting to be there to see Yamada and Nishi essentially have their little moment in the sun. And that's what's so beautiful about this couple, because they're just hanging out, and he's like, oh, what should I read, what should I do? We know damn well Yamada don't care about no reading. We know damn well he don't care about none of this. So obviously he just wanted to find some excuse to be around this girl and some excuse to be around her in general. So they have a little back and forth with the whole book stuff. But eventually they get to the point where they're kind of going through the names on in the journal, or the names in the list. And she's like, okay, where's Yamada, right? Where's he at? And she goes, looking, and eventually finds his name. And well, when she finds his name, this is when she essentially calls him by, his first name. And when this happens, it's honestly proof that we are one step closer, right? We're almost there. But I liked it because Yamada made such a funny joke out of it. It wasn't super serious, or it wasn't embarrassing. It wasn't anything like that. He was just oh, here. He's acting like a student, being oh yeah, I'm here. And I was yeah, that's really, really, really cute. And frankly enough, we continue the cuteness when we eventually have the moment where essentially he's he immediately says her first name, right? He says her first name and is oh yeah, where's, he kind of plays it off oh yeah, where's your name, right? Where's your name? And says her name. And I'm yeah, okay, boy, I see you. And frankly, this moment is really perfect and cute because, we kind of skipped the whole oh, I say your first name, how am I going to say your first name, that whole thing. And they were hey, let's figure it out. Let's say our first names, but in a more organic way, right? Let's do it in a way that won't make everybody awkward, won't make people feel ooh, I feel embarrassed or something along those lines. And I thought it was a really good way of approaching both of them saying the first names of each other. And I thought it was really, really cute, really, really adorable. But that's not the only part of this anime or episode 4 where I'm damn, we really are one step closer to them finally freaking getting together. Because eventually we have basically Nishi talking to her best friend. Now I'm gonna say her name. I believe it's Honda. I don't 100% know how to say it. I'm gonna be honest, I looked for a little bit trying to figure out exactly how to say it. My apologies if I'm saying it wrong. I'm just gonna refer to her as her best friend. But with them two basically together, we get a pretty good moment between the two of them. Now, obviously, it starts off with the backstory of Nishi and her. There's a little bit of a backstory where essentially they're talking about how Nishi and her weren't essentially getting along very well. Nishi obviously gets along with her and stuff like that, but she didn't really want Nishi to be her friend, right? She had a lot of pushback on it, stuff like that. But then she realized that Nishi was actually a genuine person. like a really nice person, and she took everything she said to heart. Like, if she was like, hey, you're being way too pushy, she's like, oh, thanks for letting me know. Like, I promise to like chill out a little bit. Like, that's the type of person Nishi is, and that's the type of person her best friend is as well, right? They were able to figure that out and eventually come to terms with it. Now, with that said, that's not what this episode is necessarily about, which maybe I'll do a video on that in the future. But what really makes you feel like, damn, we are getting pretty damn close to a confession, is we get a conversation between the two of them, right? And this conversation leads us down the alleyway of like, okay, are you happy with the way things are? Like, are you okay with things being this way? And Nishi's like, yeah, like, I'm actually like really happy. I really do like the things like how they are right now. And, you know, it makes me happy, you know, it makes me feel good, whatever. And I can see that. I can see how the situation they're in right now, you wouldn't really want to stretch things even further. You wouldn't really want to push things further because it's so scary. I mean, genuinely, it is pretty damn scary if you try to go further with things and maybe things don't work out, or, you know, at the end of the day, like, you're just too embarrassed to like push things even further. But then obviously her best friend brings up a very good point, and the point that she makes is like, hey, well, let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about the fact that, let's say Yamada, right, still likes you, and, you know, you guys do this for a little bit. You know, you and him are really good friends for a little bit. Y'all hang out, y'all are doing whatever. And then Yamada falls for someone else, right? Yamada, you know, eventually finds himself to actually be into, to fall in love with, or whatever, with someone else. I mean, how is that going to make you feel? Will you give up Yamada? Will you be able to be happy for him and allow him to just leave? Will you be okay with another girl swooping him up and essentially that is it? Like, there is no you and him anymore? Will you be okay with that? And this right here, I think, is the realest thing you can do as a friend. Because when friends get comfortable with someone else that potentially could be your significant other, or basically they're like, hey, you got to take the risk, you got to go after them, and you're like, no, I'm okay with the way things are. The real question is exactly what she said. She asked, hey, are you okay with Yamada finding somebody else? Let's just say, for example, he falls in love with someone else, and essentially you no longer are with him anymore. You are no longer hanging out with him anymore. You're no longer, you know, friends with him really anymore. Are you okay with just staying like that? Are you okay with the maximum being just a simple friendship, hi, bye, you know, hang out from time to time, not really anything crazy? Like, are you okay with that? And Nishi is like, no, I'm not okay with that. And that right there shows to me that not only is she in love with this guy, like she really is, she's also ready, right? She's ready to try and step into the abyss that we know as dating, right? Because it's a scary thing. It's not an easy thing. And these shows make it seem easy, but in all honesty, there's a lot of other animes that don't make it seem so easy, right? There's a lot of question marks, a lot of things you deal with when involving, you know, a friend and a friend end up getting together and being a romance and stuff like that. There's a lot of things to basically put into perspective, a lot of things to deal with, and that's really what she was worried about. But at the end of the day, if you're more worried about essentially him being taken away from you than you are fumbling and messing up and doing all this other stuff, then how about you take that shot? How about you go for it, right? How about you take that leap of faith? Because at the end of the day, you know, you're the only one that could do it. You know, you're the only one that can actually do it. And, I mean, you could obviously argue Yamada could also do it as well. But if Yamada were to do it, then obviously Nishi needs to respond inclined, right? Needs to respond in a way that so they could actually to get together and they could be boyfriend and girlfriend. But we just don't know for a fact, or we didn't know for a fact, if Nishi was willing to take that leap, right? Or take that leap in response, or take that leap in kind of the immediate kind of aggression to somehow get him, right? To be the first one to take that step forward. We didn't know, right? But now we do know. Now we do know that Nishi will not settle and will not allow for another girl to come in and swoop him up, because in her eyes, that's my man. Like, that is my boy. That's my guy right there. Like, that is my man. And I like that. I like that because there's a little bit there for her. There's a little bit of that confidence that we've been waiting for, right? Because she deserves that confidence. She really should be more confident. And I just love that. I loved it so much that she was like, okay, no, you're right. I'm not going to let anybody come in and swoop him up. Like, that's for me. Like, he's mine. And she didn't say that outright. Like, she didn't say it like that. But that's the reality of it, right? She's like, I don't want to let anybody else swoop in and take him away from me. Because, I mean, the reality is, in her eyes, she's like, that is mine, right? That is my guy. That is my man. So I was like, yeah, I like that. And it feels like we're just inching closer and closer to that eventual confession. And there was little things said about Valentine's Day. And her best friend was like, hey, like, you know, you could give him chocolates. You know, you can do this, you can do that. And obviously Nishi at the moment, or in that moment, was like, I don't know, like, I might be too scared to do that. But hey, we might get that moment. I honestly do think that it would be such an amazing thing to have Nishi actually confess instead of Yamada. Because Yamada is somebody who's outgoing, straight to the point, all these things. But he, even himself, is questioning, like, oh my gosh, should I confess? Should I do this? Like, I really want to date her, but should I do it? Like, this is the first time you're seeing verbatim that Yamada is actually questioning himself. He's not just going for it. He's not taking that leap of faith. So I think it would be one hell of a thing if Nishi was the one that made that step forward. And Valentine's Day might be the perfect time to do it. Bring him chocolates, admit your feelings, admit that you're in love with him, whatever. And I think that could be absolutely peak. I think that could be absolutely amazing to see if Nishi of all people, is the one to actually take that final step and confess to Yamada, leading to them becoming the greatest couple of all time. Okay, all right, maybe not the greatest couple of all time. Maybe I'm being a little overzealous. Maybe I'm overreacting a little bit, but I think them two as a couple, I can't wait. I think it's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be absolutely freaking adorable. I mean, they're already so damn adorable. I just feel like they're gonna be 10 times more adorable when they are actually together. Now, with that said, though, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Make sure to comment down below anything you have to say about the idea, about the video, about all this stuff. I would love to hear your feedback, your comments, and anything you would like to say about you and I are polar opposites, and the romance or the relationship between Nishi and Yamada. And if you guys enjoyed, like I said, show some love to the video. I appreciate it. And with that said, I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.